Que pasa, mi amigos? Nima here, and today we're going to talk about Z.H.P, Unlosing Ranger versus DarkDeath, Evilman. And by the way, from here on out, I'm just going to call it Z.H.P. I don't have time to continue to name the entire title. If you do like video games, please hit that like and subscribe button, and if you don't, I will make a bunch of videos about Nintendo Switch leaks and the new Nintendo Switch Pro. Test me. Just test me. I'll do it. Now on to the game. Now this was supposed to come out the same time the first video did. And the reason why I didn't really do the two videos together as one was just because, for one, I figured it'd be kind of confusing. These are two games, and going back and forth and explaining them, as well as one other very important thing that you'll need to stay to the end of the video when I get to my negative aspects of the game. So, starting off, this is a very interesting game. If you've heard of the term right time, right place, or wrong time, wrong place, that would be your character in this game. So, the game starts off with DarkDeath Man versus Unlosing Ranger for essentially the fate of planet Earth. And you're doing your grocery shopping. You're on your way home. All of a sudden, you see Unlosing Ranger come running by you, and he gets hit by a car. And the car kills him. But with his last breath, he chooses you as his successor to go on and be Unlosing Ranger. So of course, you're stuck in the position where you have to now fight DarkDeath Evilman for the fate of the entire planet. You know, what could be the problem? You're a superhero now, right? No, it doesn't work out. DarkDeath Evilman proceeds to volleyball spike you off of the planet Earth. Where you essentially are not really dead, but you reach a new plane, and you end up in what they call Bizarro Earth, where you meet a stranger who helps you and guides you to become a superhero, as well as your predecessor, who's also there to guide you and help you along your way. Now, the gameplay is where this really starts to take off, and essentially it's a roguelike. You go into randomly generated multi-level dungeons where you're basically armed with nothing at the beginning. You have to fight your way through. If you die, then you get to keep your stats, but you lose your level. So you can be like, have 100 HP and be level 1, or, you know, whatever. And as well as items and money, you lose all of those as well. So when you clear a dungeon, you get to keep your money, you get to keep your items, and as the game opens up, there's different shops that open up. There's your home, where you can store your money and your items. There's a clinic, where you can turn some of your items actually into, like, body modifications for you, to give you an extra boost, if you will. And essentially, the entire game is centered around this idea of training up for this one battle. And even though that seems kind of slow or small or short, it's not. There's quite a bit of a game in here, and it's a lot of fun. I do think that, like, it's interesting that this game came out in a time when roguelikes weren't that big. It came out in 2010 on the PSP, and I don't know if it just missed the mark or whatever, because I have a lot of fun playing it. I argue which one was the better game when I look at Z.H.P with Mikhail Kingdom, where Mikhail Kingdom really did have way more characters, there's more dynamics, it's a much bigger story, much longer story, and there's more to it, obviously. But more is better may not be the takeaway ideology you go with when you're playing video games. Sometimes it's just what's fun. And Z.H.P is a lot of fun, and there's a lot there. It's really not a bonus game or a virtual novel like I was joking with before. No, there is a lot of like I said, it's like a roguelike. And I'm sorry to anyone who heard that and thought I was being serious, because I actually did say just kidding, but for some reason I cut that out in editing, or I don't know, I didn't pick up on them. I don't know. But regardless, it's definitely like a roguelike. It's much more simpler. Like, there's not a lot of skills. There are some, but for the most part, your items dictate your abilities and how, you know, like, your play style from there, and your items you find. So it's kind of random. You can, if you clear a dungeon, bring items with you. They're gonna be, there's gonna be like some condition issues, but there's a blacksmith, so you can bring them up to 100, or you can take them to the clinic and actually have them turned into a body modification. There's a lot of things, and a lot of components, I should say, with this game. It's a lot of fun. So why do I say you have to stay to the end? So the big problem with this game, and why this video didn't come out 2 days ago when the first part did, is because this game has a lot of glitches. So, multiple times playing Z.H.P, just Z.H.P by the way, not Macau Kingdom, but just Z.H.P. I would be playing and it would just say error in software and it would just shut down and lock me out. And it was fine. It happened quite a bit and it was a little annoying because there isn't like a really good autosave to it, and it would happen sometimes when you're in the dungeons and you're having a good run, because trust me, this game is hard at times, and when you've got a good run going on, you don't want to ruin that, especially because there's a lot of grinding and leveling up that's really required in the game. It goes by really fast, but still, and it would happen, and it's like, whatever, okay, this sucks, but I'm sure there's going to be a day one patch. I'm sure there's going to be some, things like that to do with it. But the one that happened right after I did the video for, or I should say, when I did the actual visual for the first game, I was getting ready to do video for Z.H.P, and it crashed while I was getting it ready, and it just locked me out of the game completely. Like, I was able to go into Macau Kingdom, but I wasn't able to select Z.H.P anymore. Just recently, like within the last 12 hours, I was able to access it again. I don't know what happened, I have no idea. So that really held the review up, and this is something like, if you're gonna get the game, you should definitely know about this. It's gonna crash a lot. Now, again, there might be a day one patch for it, and there might be some other issues that are resolved with it, because honestly, that's the only problem I've had with either one of the games, is just, and it's huge, don't get me wrong, but it's not, I don't know, it's the only thing, one and only thing. Everything else has been great. I haven't had any other problems, but you should definitely know about that. So my thoughts on the game are this. I think they should have like a 5 to maybe 7 hours of free play. Why? Because it's $40, and honestly, I would probably price it at $29.99, but I do think it's actually worth the $40, but most people haven't heard of these games or haven't played them, and so they're not familiar with them. I know I probably wouldn't pay that before I actually played them. Now, I think they're actually worth it, but again, I wouldn't know unless I'd, been able to experience it, so I think they should put some confidence in their game and actually offer them. And by the way, that is besides the day one patch. Anyway, that's my thoughts for it. I have to thank NIS for the review code. I appreciate them. And everyone else, I wish y'all health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy. Take care, guys.